I think there are a couple class teams that should feel more excited than others. One of those, Max,
yes,
is the UTSA Roadrunners.
Mm-hmm.
I think the UTSA Roadrunners pulled in a haul on National Signing Day. 24/7 Sports ranks them as the top class in Conference USA. And here to talk about that recruiting class is the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners. We are joined by Coach Frank Wilson. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. Hi, Greg. Hi, Max.
How are you? Congratulations on a fantastic recruiting class. What's the energy been like down there in San Antonio today?
Off the charts. We're very excited about our class. When you put in so much time and due diligence in a class that you've recruited for an entire year, and you get them through the finish line, it's always gratifying. So we're super excited about our young men.
This is your first recruiting cycle here at UTSA. You came in late last year and kind of held together a decent class last year. What do you know now after going through one full recruiting cycle that maybe you didn't know at this time last year?
That we could, not that I didn't know it, but we had 2 weeks before National Signing Day, and the thing that we wanted to do that our university at times struggled with in the past was to really try to build a fence around the city of San Antonio to the best of our ability and really concentrate on the state of Texas. And out of our signees, 17 come from the state of Texas. We're super proud of that. Our high school coaches and junior college coaches in our state have been phenomenal in helping us build something very special here.
You mentioned San Antonio. You guys, boy, you did. You guys built some borders around the city, the Alamo city, bringing in guys like Bryce Rivers out of San Antonio Stevens. Guys like Frank Harris, who I want to talk about a little bit later. Why is it so important for you to focus on these kids in San Antonio in your own backyard?
It's kind of when you look up and you see these young men that has happened for so many years that are at other universities, and you don't have to look far. That the grass is not greener on the other side. That we truly in our city have quality coaches and have quality players that are capable, that can help us build something special. It always bodes well for you because they're local guys, and they bring people with them. They're high school coaches, their family, their friends, and it helps pack the Alamo Dome. They play with a greater sense of pride when they're playing for the University of San Antonio.
We're talking with Frank Wilson, the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. Was there a moment today that you're gonna remember? Was there maybe a fax that came in that fired up the war room, or is there any sort of particular moment today that's going to stand out to you?
Yeah, the very first one. As you pointed out, it was our first full recruiting cycle, and so although we signed some young men last year and we built it on relationships that our assistant coaches had for quite some time at the various universities that they were at, we just extended it over here. But this year, it was true relationships that were able to withstand the test of time and to hold off some other schools that in the past may have been very difficult to do. And so it was gratifying to get the first one. Certainly it came from Florida with the time zone difference as we held off South Florida as they tried to make a push at the last minute against us with a young man from their state. And then, as they started coming in from our state and recognizing hard work being vindicated, hard work paying off, it was super exciting for our staff.
Was there a particular focus for this class? Was there some sort of maybe position group that you were especially interested in solidifying for your roster?
Always. That'll always be the case. And that's the thing that we manage our roster and the attrition of it with due diligence. And when we look at the attrition that we lost at different position groups, to adequately go out and take care of our needs at the offensive line position, at the quarterback position, at the running back position, at the tight end position, because we'll get in 12 personnel at times and with one back and run our offense. Hold on, excuse me. So we had to address our needs, and then defensively to go after those the guys that would allow us to be our very best from a depth chart, from top to bottom of our roster, and play a season with productivity.
And you did do something interesting. It's been a long time, Coach, since I've seen a team sign 3 tight ends. But you guys signed 3 tight ends, one from in your backyard, or 2 of them from in your backyard. Michael Goff from San Antonio Johnson, as well as Chance McLeod from Victoria East, who was so sensational for them, and then a junior college guy out of California, and Robert Ursua. Why was it so important to get this kind of guys at tight end? People are kind of phasing out the tight end, right?
No, well, I don't care what they're doing. They ain't got nothing to do with us. We believe, we use our tight end. We use them in the passing game. We use them in the run game. The position that sometimes get, become obsolete is the fullback position, and certainly understanding we use him at times too. But when you're not in that personnel grouping, the extra tight end becomes that guy that plays attached, detached, that create mismatches for you in the passing game as well as the running game, because he's a tweener type body for us, and that's the H position for us. He's an H back for us, and so this past year, we lost 3 guys at that position group, and we had 1 with experience. And certainly we couldn't go in the season with 1 guy with experience. We needed to have quality depth there when we get into those personnel groupings.
Want to ask you about a couple of individual guys who really stand out to us. First of all, I have to admit that here on this show, we are particularly fond of Frank Harris.
Yes.
And what he did at Schertz Clemens. We know that he is a superstar. What about Frank Harris coming out of Schertz Clemens has you particularly fired up that he's going to be wearing the orange and blue?
His position, his ability to make plays. One of the needs we wanted to address this year were playmakers. He's a young man who's very smart, that has nice touch on the football, but also have escapability and the ability to have pocket awareness, to extend plays still looking downfield, and when all else fails, to extend the play by running for yardage in huge chunks at a time and score touchdowns. So the productivity that he had throughout his high school career made him very appealing for us, very important for us to solidify in our class. Because he can make plays. He's a playmaker waiting to happen.
You guys have had a lot of kids who have been committed for a long time. Taylor Perry out of Crosby was committed back in April. John Tavius Mosley from John Tyler back in May. And then in June, Dadrian Taylor from Shiner. And I know that's part of it is because you guys got there early and you noticed the talent on these guys close. For you, what was the key in holding off what I'm sure were some late pushes for their talents, because they certainly got noticed?
Yeah, establishing relationships that withstand the test of time. Mm-hmm. So when the barrage comes on and they start to recognize what we've already seen, because we trust our process and our early identification is important to us. And so last January when we first got here, we were finishing up a class and added some value to our 2016 class, but the reality was in January we were 2017 recruiting, and came back immediately in the month of February with the junior day to get those young men on our campus, and then the same thing for our spring practices, to invite them in their spring practices to be in attendance to it, then to come back this summer and have them in our camp, and then in the fall to go evaluate them, and then of course in December to have in-home visit contacts with those young men. And so through the duration of one calendar year, we've accumulated enough contact, enough visits, enough relationships that allowed us to hold off those guys that at the very end, when schools in our state and nearby made pushes at them, we were able to hold on.
We're talking with Frank Wilson, the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation, hashtag DCTF Live. Coach, know you're a busy man. I want to ask you one more question, though, before we let you go. You guys made history last year, first bowl game in program history. We know what a big deal it was for that program to make its first bowl. I know, the bowl game ended up not going your way, a close loss to a good New Mexico team. But overall, how valuable was it for your program to have that experience of making the bowl game, the extra month of practice, and then going in the experience of playing in that bowl game?
What you said was a mouthful. It was tremendous opportunity for us to build on our youth. We were able to have extra weeks of practice to develop our youth. Some of those early weeks of practices was an emphasis for the young guys on our team who so many times in season may have been playing the look squad or the scout team for our upcoming opponent. Now they got our undivided attention during those weeks of practice preparation for the bowl game. And so that was tremendous for us. I think the experience for our team was a real one. We were excited to be there, but by no means content with just getting there. It was bittersweet, excited to be there, but it hurt that we finished second 23-20 to a very good football team. But I think it's raised the stakes here, and our guys want to achieve more. They're eager to go out and better themselves than we were a year ago.
Well, UTSA's got a great chance to achieve more in the coming years after a tremendous 2017 signing class, Coach Frank Wilson of the UTSA Roadrunners. Coach, appreciate your time. Again, congratulations, and best of luck down the road.
Thank you guys so much. Birds up.
Birds up. There he goes. Frank Wilson, head coach, UTSA Roadrunners.